Do you think our school should switch to the system if a student had a B or higher in a class, they wouldn't have to take the semester test?
It's going.
Oh, okay. Do you think if students have a B or higher, they shouldn't have to take semester tests?
No,
Why?
because in a class like mine where it's project-based, would it be very fair if I made half of the class take a semester test and make a project and the other half not?
True.
Okay.
Do you think if you did have a B or higher, do you think if you didn't, do you think it will make kids work harder? So they wouldn't have to take semester tests maybe? If we did this?
Yes, I do think that if kids didn't have to take their semester test because they earned a B, that they wouldn't, they work harder to earn that B or higher. However, our semester tests do, kind of prepare you guys for finals in college. So I think it's also a positive thing.
Should we have more vouchers for kids? If no, why?
I vote yes. However, I don't think that it should just be that you don't have to take a semester test. I think that it should be if you consistently earn B's or higher on your semester tests, even as a sophomore, then you could get off campus, or that they would order in lunch for you once a month from somewhere like Subway or like Domino's Pizza. I think that those would be better incentives than just not having to take one semester test.
That's a good idea. How do you think it will affect test scores?
Honestly, we take data, we collect data on our semester tests on, if it increases your grade or lowers your grade. And if we only have the lower section of our classes taking those semester tests, it's those lower level kids that are going to be earning those lower semester test grades. Then overall semester tests aren't really going to have a great impact on their overall grade because it is that lower half. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. Do you think it will help kids be less stressed and sleep more?
To not have to do semester tests? Yes, but that's what the rest of your life is going to be like. So if we just keep hand-holding, we're not doing anybody any favors.
Yeah.
So.
Why do we need to write essays for the test?
That's a really good question. I don't necessarily agree with that part. I think that definitely in English you should have a written portion. Some sections, a written portion is helpful. In a class like mine, to have a written portion where we strictly do projects pretty much all semester long, it's almost more work for me. And I don't think it really directly relates to the class. So expecting everyone to have a written portion on all their semester tests, I think is kind of a stretch.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Did I answer?
Do you think if students have a B or higher, they shouldn't have to take semester tests?
No, I still think we should.
Why?
Because grades are based on obedience and not how much you know.
How long do you spend studying for semester tests?
I start studying a week or two before we actually take them. So I spend about 20 minutes on each subject.
Holy cow. More than I study. How would you rather be spending your time?
Probably taking it down.
Do you think if students have a B or higher, they shouldn't have to take semester tests?
Yeah. I don't think they should have to take them.
Why?
Because I think it would encourage students to work harder to get a B or higher so they don't have to take them.
Okay. How long do you spend studying for semester tests?
I don't. I don't know. I guess it depends on the class.
Okay.
Like math, I don't study because it's math.
Yeah.
But
You'd study for English or another class?
no.
No.
Well, like history, I guess, or chemistry. Chemistry. I'll study for chemistry.
Yeah, that will be hard. How would you rather be spending your time?
Doing anything else really.
Me too, don't worry. I'd rather be taking a nap. Okay.
I think if students have a B or A, they shouldn't have to take the semester test.
Possibly if they have an A, but if they have a B, they should have to take a semester test. But there's a possibility with an A that I think that maybe you can work it out.
Okay. Do you think it will make kids work harder?
Do I think what'll make kids work harder? If they don't have to take the
Yeah, if
test?
they don't have to take the test.
Possibly. They might put in a little more. They might put in a little more time in during the balance of or during the quarter. That's a possibility.
Should kids have more vouchers for getting out of the semester test?
I think if they have a voucher, my feeling is if they have a voucher, then I would not have them take a semester test. That's my feeling, because I think if they have a voucher and they don't have to take the semester test because they possibly have an A, then I think that they could concentrate on the other classes where maybe they don't have an A and they would have an opportunity to do better on the semester test.
Okay. Do you think it will help kids be less stressed and sleep more?
If they don't have to take the semester test, yeah, I think it would help anybody to be less stressed because they are stressful, but I don't think there's any doubt about that. But, you know, part of that is your training for life too. There's all kinds of stress in life and you need to be able to deal with that. But definitely if they didn't have to take the test, they would have less stress.
Okay, that's it.
Do you think if students have a B or higher, they shouldn't have to take semester tests?
If it's in a class where tests and quizzes are really heavily weighted, then no, I don't think they should have to. But if it's like daily work that you can just cheat on, then yeah, you should.
Okay. How long do you spend studying for a semester test?
I'm a really big procrastinator, so I pretty much study like the weekend before, and that's it, usually.
How would you rather be spending your time?
Literally any other way. I would spend time doing anything, chores, anything but studying.
Only half of the senior class this year would have to take semester tests.
Do you think if students have a B or higher, they shouldn't have to take semester tests?
No, I don't think that, but I know some places do it. Like actually when I was in high school, which was a long, long time ago, they had kind of a graduated scale. So if you had, depending on, they tied it to your grade and to your attendance. And so if you had an A, you could miss like 4 days. If you had a B, you could miss 2 days, you know, something like that. And so there was which was on the plus side. The one thing I did like about it, or do like about it, is it was further motivation to have good attendance and obviously to keep your grade up. So as a student, I very much liked it. And, you know, if I was in your guys' shoes, I'd probably say it was a good thing. As an administrator, looking back now though, generally, you know, we send 90% of our students either go to a 4-year college, a 2-year technical school, or the military, with about 80% of those kids going to a 4-year college. And so I think if we're talking about students who are getting B's, A's and B's, we're also talking about the same students that are going to be going on to college. And so I think the semester tests are an important preparation for that. So I really like our policy now. I totally see the upside to having a B, or, you know, I see that too, but I do, when I think of our student body at Riggs and the fact that 80% of our students are going to be going to a 4-year college, I think the semester tests are pretty important.
Okay. Should we have more vouchers for the kids? If no, why?
It kind of goes back to the same dilemma, I think. You know, there are, you know, we give vouchers right now basically as a reward for attendance, and then also as a reward for doing well on either it used to be the Dakota Step, but now it's a Smarter Balanced. It kind of goes back to my answer to the first question a little bit, in that if we did give more vouchers, who would be the kind of students that would benefit from vouchers? Probably students like you guys, who are also the same types of students who are going to be going on to college, and in a lot of ways would most benefit from the experience of the semester test. So I guess again, kind of like the last question, I think it can both ways. But I think we also have to be careful too, just from a management standpoint. You know, if we were to issue more vouchers, it would be pretty hard for our our secretaries to keep track of as well. So
Why do we need to write essays for these tests?
that's a really good question. I'll be even less wishy-washy on this one. I don't think there's any question that no matter what field you three are going into, or anybody's going into, communication, the ability to communicate is so important. I think it's even more important than it was 25 years ago when I was in high school, and much more important than it was 50 years ago, and especially written communication. And you guys don't know any different because of your age, but it's amazing because of email and social media how much more writing we do. Now, sometimes that's not formal writing. What you post on Facebook you're not held to the same standards that you're held to in, Mrs. Vogt's class or Mrs. Blanchett's or Mr. Sluka's class. But it's still communication, and everything you do right is a reflection on you, and I think that's something sometimes we forget, our young people forget especially. And so I think the writing process and being effective writers is maybe one of the most important things that we can teach our students. And the other thing I would say is that you look at overall, how our students do on the ACT or Smarter Balance, whatever assessment it is, we do awesome. I mean, our students at Riggs are outstanding. Writing is one of those areas, though, that we feel like we can continue to make improvements on.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, you said I wouldn't in the locker room last week. I was gonna do more, but then you